What's up? Well, that's good, fam. I hope you're having a great week. But per usual, it is about to get so much better because we have two very special guests on the podcast. One is back for the second time. The other one, it is a first-time appearance on Whoa, That's Good. And I am thrilled to get to interview Ben and Erin Napier. Welcome back to the podcast, Erin, and welcome for the first time, Ben.
What's up?
Thank you so much for having us, Sadie. We were supposed to be there in real life today, but the weather there is absolutely horrible.
I know. The weather is nuts. And I'm glad you even said that because for those who listen, you might hear thunder roaring in the back. And yeah, it is even hailing here today. So it's good for y'all you aren't here, but stinks for all of us that we couldn't hang out.
The next time it's going to happen.
But next time
we're going to be there.
Yeah.
No, I'm so excited. Like I mentioned, Erin, you were on the podcast when my mom was doing interviews when I was postpartum. And I went back and listened to that episode, and it was so encouraging. And I remember that being one of the favorites of the year, truly. Just reached a lot of people, and people were very encouraged and loved it. And so it's a joy to have you back with your hubby this time. I know you got asked the question, but Ben, you haven't been asked this question yet. And this is the question I ask everybody in the Let's Go podcast. If you don't see this coming, I'm sorry, it's going to come so from left field, but it's okay. Just whatever comes to your mind. What is the best piece of advice you have ever been given? Boom.
Do the best you can. Don't worry about it.
You were ready.
Well,
You're ready to give that.
It is my go-to because it's this. There was this. My dad is a preacher, and they were at this country church for a while, and there was this guy there who he was born with a speech impediment. He was an older man. He was born with a speech impediment, and because of the time and the place that he was born and grew up, his family was like, "Oh, well, he's handicapped. He's not going to school. He's gonna work on the farm or whatever."
He never learned to read, and he also had very poor vision.
Yeah, he was blind basically, but
Almost.
they couldn't get his glasses figured out because he couldn't read or write. So,
They didn't do the picture charts like they do with toddlers.
they may do that now, but back then. And also he thought he could see. Before you got glasses, you thought you could see. You thought that that was what things looked like. And but also he had this speech impediment, but he was very sharp. I mean, he knew he was perfectly fine learning. He had all the abilities to learn. They just had never been taught.
He had a lot of challenges.
And but he had a great outlook on life, and it was do the best you can. Don't worry about it.
It's
and
great.
Everything's going to be all right.
It's so great.
In some form or fashion.
Those are the best kind of pieces of advice because they stick with you, because that is something that I will now say, do the best you can.
I think about it daily.
It's so easy to think about that, and it's so true. It's a small piece of advice that goes a really long way. Erin, I know you've shared before on the Well That's Good podcast, but do you have any fresh best pieces of advice for us?
Yes, my friend Lisa has really exceptional kids her youngest is now in high school, and her oldest are all in college or graduated, and they're all remarkable.
She's a worker. She and her husband both working career people,
but they were super involved in their kids' lives, and always, as a family, they would sit around the dinner table and talk about their 5 people, the 5 friends in your life who are influencing you, are making you who you are. So what are those qualities of those 5 friends? And let's talk about it. And she learned by talking about it regularly, helped her kids weed out friendships that were not good with people who were not shaping them into the person they wanted to be. And so that's, I think, great advice. You can even talk about that with a first grader.
Yeah, it's so good too, because instead of you as the parent having to come in and say you shouldn't hang out with this person or that person, it lets the kids figure out discernment and who they should hang out with or not. I love that. That is so good. When my kids are old enough, I'm going to bring that one into our rotation.
Growing up, our parents, there were always people that our parents, both of us have talked about, that our parents didn't want us to be around. And at the time we were very you don't know what you're talking, you don't know them. And then as time went on, we figured it out oh,
you were so right.
They were right.
Yeah, it's so true.
So it's a way of them figuring it out on their own.
It saves you a lot of that just being stupid with the wrong people.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
That's good. Okay, so last time you were on this podcast, Erin, you were talking about when you first met Ben. And you mentioned from your perspective that you felt like you were just bombing it. Every time y'all talk, you just didn't say the right thing. So I got to hear, now that we have Ben on the podcast to clear this, did she bomb it? What was y'all's first meeting like? Erin, do you still feel like that?
She says that she bombed it, and I've heard her say that, but I
didn't know what I was supposed to say to a boy I had a crush on for a year when he walks up to me and finally says hello. Like, I couldn't say, I love you so much, I want to marry you and have your babies. But
I was very...
tell me what you wish I had said.
Well, what did you say?
So it came across very differently from my part. Now, I was very confident back then. And I was so smooth before I had kids and before I became just a dad. But, so it's the last day of where everyone's moving out of the dorms at college, last day of freshman year. I'm going home for the summer. Don't know if I'm coming back to school. Don't know what, at the time I was not focused on anything. And I knew who Erin was and I also had a crush on her. And since the first week of school, it was the first time I saw her. And Erin had noticed me because I was very active on campus.
And every year, president of every club.
Having a good time.
Every page of the yearbook, he's there.
But I had just noticed Erin, she was walking across the student union and they caught my attention. And I was like, wow, that girl's really striking. And I was very interested in her. And I knew her roommate. I didn't know that it was her roommate, but she was sitting with this girl and I knew the girl she was sitting with. I walk into McDonald's. This is my opportunity to walk over and speak to this girl that I've been admiring from a distance. So I walk across the room and I'd never I would just see Erin in the student union. She wasn't involved in she wasn't at any of the events that I was running, except for she might show up to a midnight breakfast in the cafeteria or something. But we wouldn't interact. She would just be there. And so this is my chance. She's sitting there with this person I know. I can walk up and speak. I walk over. I talk to her friend, and her friend's like, I don't know if you know my roommate, Erin. And I was like, oh, hey, I'm Ben Napier. And Erin says, yeah, I know who you are.
I work with a guy who looks a lot like you.
And me being the ever so smooth, ever so confident, 6'6", very handsome, very, I'm like, oh, he must be a very good looking guy.
And I said,
yeah, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like,
because I couldn't say what I couldn't say the real thing.
That was a hard position to be put in, though. That was a tough position.
It was very
I'm sorry.
I put her in this position, but what she should have gone with, and I would have just not gone home for the summer, was yes, he is good looking, and you are too, and I'm in love with you, and we should get married and have kids. And then we could have gotten this show.
You totally would have been completely accepting.
Absolutely. If you had said that in that moment, I would have been like,
hindsight's always 20/20, right? But is it true, Erin, that you actually dated the guy at your work because he looked like Ben, and that was kind of the reason?
He was a very, very nice guy, but he was Diet Ben,
Or not Diet Ben, just different.
Diet
Dr. Pepper and Mr. Pibb.
He was very quiet.
Coke and Pepsi.
No, y'all were very, very different. We couldn't have a conversation.
But
and the first time Ben and I he looked like Ben Napier, so I went on a few dates.
That is
but then there were two more door slams. One was I totally bombed a conversation with Erin. I was trying to use something to pay her a compliment. I told her at the time she had a pixie cut, and I was like, short hair, that looks really great. A lot of girls can't pull that off, but it looks great on you. And Joy, her friend who was sitting at the table with her, we
had literally come from the hair salon where she had cut her hair that was to the middle of her back up to here.
Oh my gosh.
I had just said that most girls can't pull off short hair.
Gosh.
And so I have to
defend.
I have to step out for her and be like, well, it's funny that you say that. Joy just cut her hair.
You're just
But
trying to
then
let
I'm
her
like,
know.
2 hours ago.
So yeah, it looks great on you. You
didn't
too.
even notice that she was there.
Yeah, Joy, your hair looks great too.
Okay, bye.
Okay, see you later. So that was the second one. Then the third one was I was driving across campus.
I think I covered all this a year ago.
No. This is fresh crowd, fresh audience, new ears.
Hey, you guys, it's Christian jumping in again for Sadie while she is still on maternity leave. Fall weekend for me usually means two things: chasing the kids around the yard and catching lots of football games. But let's be real, staying up late for the night game does not do me any favors if I don't recover well, especially with kids that I'm chasing around. And that is why AGZ has become such a part of my nightly routine. AGZ is AG1's new drink for winding down at night. Adding it to my nighttime routine was such a no-brainer since AG1 has been part of my morning routine for years, even before they were a podcast sponsor. AGZ is so great because there's no melatonin and you end up feeling refreshed without the grogginess. It's just clinically backed ingredients that help your body and mind ease into restful sleep. AGZ has magnesium for sleep quality, ashwagandha for managing stress, and saffron to help you wake up feeling refreshed. I've been loving the chocolate flavor. I drink it warm because I love a good cup of hot cocoa before bed, and that's just what I love to do. I love drinking chocolate before bedtime, and the AGZ formula is delicious. And honestly, better sleep for me means that I don't drag through the next morning. I'm feeling refreshed enough to enjoy my time with the family. Like I said, I have a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a couple-month-old kid is now. And I need something that I know is going to help me conquer the mornings in the best. And there's no better time to do that than to start my night with AGZ. So if you are listening to this and you are ready to turn down the stress and focus on the rest, head to drinkag1.com/whoa to get a free frother with your first purchase of AGZ. That is drinkag1.com/whoa.
Third one, I'm driving across campus and I see her walking out of this building and I'm like, it's going to time out perfect. We're going to meet. And I slow down and a buddy of mine was in the car with me and he let the window down on his side. She's walking. And as she's stepping up, I'm noticing that Erin was crying. She's like red eyes crying. And I went, oh shoot, she's crying. And I said, hey, is everything okay? And she said, and I had been in that building earlier that day. And she said, oh, Ben, someone stole my purse out of the yearbook room. And some people said that you were in the building earlier. So my mind immediately, being this poor, kid from South Mississippi, I was like, oh shoot, she thinks that I stole her purse.
Of course I didn't.
And I said, I didn't steal your purse. And she said, no, that's not what I mean. I said, I promise you, I didn't steal your purse.
I wondered if he had seen anyone running with a bag across campus.
Oh my God.
So I drive away all right, well, that's it. She's never going to speak to me again. And I need to look in other places. And
then I finally got it together when he was running for.
I ran for student body.
Mr.
Jones College. And, it was for the yearbook. And it was as a joke. Me and my buddies did it as a joke.
And he was in a tuxedo shaking hands.
Yeah, I was going around campaigning, shaking hands. And she was walking out of the building with a group of friends, and I knew everyone in the group. And I was like, hey, I said, you're going to vote for me, right? And Erin, very flirtatiously with her eyes.
Well, I had to at some
point. She looked at me and said, I voted for you. And it was like this moment where I was like, okay. The door is now cracked open. It's been slammed 3 times in a row. This time it was cracked open, and then I didn't win that, but the yearbook ended up doing a story on me, and
I was the editor, the design editor.
Ayo.
And we have been inseparable since.
As fate would have it, the design editor in the yearbook king. That is so cute. I love that so much. That is the sweetest story ever. And I think it's really cute, like the awkward tension and the cuteness of y'all both liked each other from afar and didn't know how to tell each other that. And you were playing.
We should have just said it. We should all be more honest is the moral of the story.
See, that is what I was going to ask you though, because people are out there right now in the same pickle. They liked a guy forever. The guys like the girl forever. They don't know how to break the ice. Coming from 2 people, how do you break the ice?
Listen. I had a long conversation. We're in our office, so there's people walking around.
That's great. I love it.
They're normal. They're good. They're supposed to be here. So I had lunch with a friend of mine who's in her 20s this week. And she's like, Erin, you just don't understand how awful and hard the dating situation is if you're in your 20s. Nobody will just say what they mean. And everybody is so like, just trying to be like lukewarm and too cool to say, I like you. Yeah. And I would like to get married sooner than later. And then I would like to have a family.
Yeah.
And they're not saying these things. So they just have what they're calling the situationship, which I learned about. I feel young and hip knowing what a situationship is.
I still don't understand it. So.
Well, it's not something that we did. We met and 6 days later we're like, let's get married.
So wait, all those moments with y'all happened within 6 days?
No. That
was
happened
over a year.
Okay.
Yeah, over the course of a year. And
then when the yearbook story happened, we were together that day to work on yearbook, and we were together nonstop for 6 days after. And then he was like, I love you. And I think I want to marry you one day.
Gosh.
And I was like, well, me too. And so.
Oh my gosh. And see,
But for me, it was big that my parents met him in those 6 days because he's just my friend that came by the house with me, not because he was my boyfriend.
We weren't dating.
Yeah.
We were in a situation
for 6 days. And my parents were just like, he's wonderful. And they had never said anything like that before.
Still the best son-in-law they've ever had.
The very best.
Of course.
The very best.
Of course.
I only have a brother.
That's so awesome. And hey, you're preaching to people out there because seriously, like, be honest, because it one time, I'll be honest, I have a tough story on an honest moment. So my friend had a friend that she had liked him for a while, and she would always say, well, if I don't get married, like, I'll marry this guy, like, that was kind of always their thing. Like, if I don't get married, I'll marry this guy. And I was like, I think you need to tell him that you like him, because I don't, like, what if he doesn't feel the same way, or what if he does? Because if he doesn't feel the same way, at least we can, like, you can move on and not have that in the back of your mind that one day you're going to marry him. But if he does feel the same way, then let's speed this process up. What are we waiting on? Why are we going to wait years when it could be now? Yeah. And so I was like, okay, like, you should do it. Well, then she did it. And it was like so tough because he was like, oh, I didn't see it like that. Like, I totally thought we were just friends. Well, then I like felt so bad because I was like, oh, I'm the worst. Like, why did I tell you to do that? It was so crushing.
Well, shit needed to happen.
But at the same time, she was like, no, actually, that was a good thing, because it stunk in the moment. It was terrible. But then it was like, actually, no, that needed to happen. And she was like, because in the back of my mind, I always did think he might be the one. And now I'm just glad to know, So I think it's always good, no matter how it turns out, because you at least have clarity. And it helps you move on. Like, it helps you either move on to the right person, or he would have been the right person.
You'll either get your happy ending or you'll get clarity.
Yes.
Clarity may come with heartbreak, but it is clarity.
And that's a good thing.
Also, I feel like we're kind of like, we've all gotten a little too afraid of heartache. I mean, some of the greatest country songs of all time are about heartache. And
now.
The greatest stories we've ever read are about heartache. And you read in the Bible and there's so much heartache. And
it's true.
It's not necessarily bad. I mean, it is tough in the moment, but there's always good that comes after it. And
you never had your heart broken.
I don't know. I didn't get accepted to Duke University and get recruited to play basketball there. That was pretty heartbreaking.
It was. Okay.
Heartbreak can look different ways. Sometimes it's from a breakup. Sometimes it's from a disappointment in life. And that's true. Actually, I'm reading through Psalms right now, and I haven't read through Psalms in a long time. Like, it's
my favorite.
It's been so good for me. Like, it has retaught me how to pray, think.
It's for the anxious people.
Praise the Lord. And yeah, I feel like it tells you where you're at in life when you're like, I'm reading through Psalms. You're like, oh, yeah. How's your heart?
You're going through.
How's your heart? But it's true. It's like, to your point, we don't know how to deal with a broken heart. We fear it when sometimes it's necessary. And watching David go through so many, David's one of the ones that talks about going through heartbreak the most, and it doesn't look like a relationship. It looks more like running from his enemies or feeling like God isn't answering him and like all these things. But it's so cool because in those Psalms, it's like the truth of how hard heartbreak is matched with the truth of how faithful God still is in the midst of it. It's always like, but I will still praise you, but you are still here. You are still, and it's so cool. I've been kind of underlining those, but this and this, like this can still be true in the midst of that. And so to your point, like, yeah, we fear that, but if it's worth gaining clarity, it's worth it.
And that's I want to talk about this a lot with Erin, and we talk about it a lot, and we talk about it with other people. But so growing up in my house, when I was a little kid, my parents lost everything financially. Like they had this old Datsun car because the bank said that car has no value, and so they let my dad keep it. And we were going down the road this is one of my earliest memories, was riding down the road in this car, and the hood flew up and busted the windshield. And my dad's solution was he jerked the hood off the car and threw it in the ditch and kept going. And so this is the kind of car we're talking about. And so, but up to that point, up until them losing everything, like my dad, he was a big farmer, and he had, it was this weird bank loan situation that is actually an illegal loan. They can't do it anymore. And anyway, he lost everything, and he rebuilt it all, and then he lost it all again. And so my perspective on heartache and loss was from watching my parents lose and rebuild and start over, and then have a surprise baby late in life, when they really, like, as far as the world was concerned, they did not need that child. And he was a miracle situation. And so I'm always looking, and that's the whole, do the best you can and don't worry about it. Because like at the end of the day, everything's going to be okay. Yeah. It's hard. It will be very hard. You will have very hard days. And Erin, that is probably her greatest fear, is not being prepared and not like planning.
Not seeing it coming, whatever it is.
Yeah. It's most people. I feel like most people find themselves in that, like, because fear is the unknown, right? It's like the what ifs. It's always like the what ifs, what could happen, what might happen, all the different things. And it's so true. It's like we don't know what's going to happen. And so that's why like reading through the Psalms is so important, because it's like reminding you, where does my help come from when it happens? Who is my strength and my shield? Who is my counsel? Who is my rock? Who is my guide? Who is my peace? And it's like, it's kind of building up your faith for when those things happen, which is so cool. So I got to get back to this 6 days, and then you said, I love you. This is so great. How long did it take from I love you to when did you actually propose, and what did that look like? Look, fam, just because the weather's cooling down does not mean that we can slack on our hydration game. I know Element sounds like a summer thing, sweaty workouts, blazing hot days, but honestly, we need it more whenever the temps start to drop, because here's the deal. Hydration isn't just about chugging water. Your body needs the right mix of electrolytes to function well. And when you're busy, you're a little worn down, or you're just trying to make it through a chaotic fall week, Element legit helps you feel like a human again. It is a zero sugar electrolyte drink mix or sparkling water can made without sugar or artificial junk. Just clean, powerful hydration. People, it is so good. I love keeping a stick pack in my bag for whenever I'm feeling a little foggy or sluggish. It's a game changer. I actually have my purse right here, and there are about 4 Element packs in there. So whether you're bundled up for a football game, chasing kids through the pumpkin patch, or just trying to make it to bedtime without crashing, Element has your back. Element has been my go-to for a long time now. It is my afternoon pick-me-up. It is so good. I crave one every single day. I personally love the lemonade this summer. I love the raspberry salt. The watermelon salt has been one of my favorites for years. It's just good stuff. So get your free Element sample pack with any purchase at drinkelement.com/whoa. Try Element totally risk-free. If you don't like it, they'll refund your order, no questions asked. That's drinkelement, drinklmnt.com/whoa.
So Erin's dad had a rule that we both had to have a degree before we could get married.
We had to finish our 4-year degree.
And I was very up until I met Erin, I was
here for a good time.
I was here for a good time, and I didn't care if it lasted a long time. Like, I was not a
You didn't think about the future.
I was not thinking about the future, and I still probably don't think about the future, because my thing, as long as I've got Erin and the girls, then we're going to be great. But for me, college, like, it was my first chance of freedom. And I still, like, I've never drank alcohol. I didn't drink in college. I didn't do drugs or anything, but I was like, my friends who, like, hey, y'all are going to be drinking tonight. I'm driving. We're not going. We're going to go to New Orleans, and we're going to sing karaoke at the Cat's Meow, and it's going to be great. And we're going to drive home at sunset, and we're going to miss class tomorrow. So my college career was not going that great. And
you could have used a little focus.
I needed some focus, and that came through.
And you don't need a college degree to do the job that you do, which is the best part.
That's so funny.
Erin's dad, like, you got to have a degree. And so
I think he finished college with like a 3-point.
It was barely over a 2. You had to have a 2.0 to graduate, and to transfer to a university in Mississippi, and it was like a 2.01. Like,
my gosh, you slid in.
So he got into Ole Miss.
Got in,
and he graduated from Ole Miss with a 3.2.
I made nearly all A's and B's once I was at Ole Miss, and I was and it's funny because Ole Miss is a party school, and
there was no party.
I was buckled down, gonna graduate, and
we met Christmas 2004, and you proposed
September
of 2007.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was a fast, like, I know I love you, but then it took a minute to kind of slow it down and get ready for
We would have gotten married like right then.
Yeah, I told her on 6th day that I wanted to marry her, or I felt like I wanted to marry her. So, but didn't have the degree.
And my parents were like, that's fine. That's great. We love Ben, but let's finish college first.
Let's do this first. Hey, there's some wisdom in that. That's some good advice. Mm-hmm. I love that. So obviously, like, people know y'all now from Hometown, HGTV, and all the different things that y'all do together. But at the time, were y'all both pursuing that, or what were you guys pursuing back in the day?
No, I got an art degree. My major's graphic design. My minor's printmaking. And I worked in corporate graphic design for my first job after college, like in a glass corporate building in a cubicle, and it was soul crushing. And then I had started a side hustle doing letterpress wedding invitations. And at the time, websites like Minted did not exist, and where you can just like order letterpress anything, anywhere, anytime. There was no Etsy to do it from. And so my business really blew up, and I left my day job, and we bought our dream house in downtown Laurel, and we renovated it together. But I had written an online journal, a blog, I guess, but a journal that was only about the best thing that happened every day, because I struggle deeply with anxiety and worry, and which is why Psalm's my favorite. Though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I'll fear no evil, for thou art with me. They rod in thy staff, they comfort me. And I learned that when I was like 8 years old, and I've never forgotten it. When I get real anxious.
Because you were anxious. You were an anxious kid.
Yeah.
Like
the journal blog was a practice in daily counting my blessings. And it really changed my life.
Wow.
Totally. Because if I had had a horrible, rotten day, I had to sit down at the computer. If someone I loved had died that day, I had to sit down at the computer and write, because 10 people were going to read it. My mama, my friends. I mean, no one cared. It was like a personal challenge, but I had to sit down and think of something that was wonderful.
Wow.
Something that was a blessing in that day.
And that was where this all, like the show, the everything eventually stemmed.
A producer just saw
that.
The journal and reached out and asked. They saw that we were renovating our own house, and we did it really thriftily because he learned how to build things. I knew what I wanted, expensive antiques that I couldn't afford. Then I would ask him if he could build it. He would build it. And then I got the look for cheap. And that was really, I think, what drew HGTV to us.
And so we were talking about Heartache earlier, and my goal was I was going to get, You were going
to go to law school?
I was going to go to law school. I was going to be a politician. I was going to get involved in politics because I wanted to make a difference in the world. And I was, going going to, and then at one point I was like, I think I want to do something different. And I was going to get a degree and be a college professor or teach at Jones College, the college that we met at before we transferred. And all of those things I was failing at and struggling with, and which is hard when you're a newlywed and, you know, in a traditional situation where you're like, you know, I'm supposed to be the breadwinner here. I'm the one that's supposed to be, you know, providing. And I was struggling through that. And then through Erin's blog,
He was a youth minister.
I was a youth minister for 10 years. And I reached a point in that where I knew that it was like God was sort of saying, like, all right, it's time for this to end. This is coming to an end. And don't worry about what's next. And that was the scariest thing. I kind of had a break. We were in St. Augustine, Florida, and Erin was painting she was doing a painting of a building. And
the journal that day was tricky because it was honestly not a very fun trip. Ben was like having an existential crisis.
And trying not to worry my wife, who is prone to worry.
Right.
He didn't want to talk about it.
And she was like, what's wrong? What's going on? What's wrong? And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
He felt like he didn't know how to connect with young people anymore who were living more and more of their lives digitally. They had a whole world happening in social media that was outside the world in real life where he was trying to minister to them. Right. And
and I didn't know how to cross that bridge. And it felt there were some other things.
The other thing is your brother was graduating from high school and he was your like link to people that age.
Yeah. He was 10 years younger than me and he was going to be graduating from high school. And that was my connection, my connective tissue up to that point. And then also there were some other things that had happened with some people in our church it was making it feel like, oh, this feels very obvious that God is saying, you need to stop and let go of this. And a friend of mine who's now my business partner, Josh Nowell, was like, I don't understand what the fear is because it seems pretty obvious what God's telling you to do. Erin needs help running her business. You already know how to do it all. And you like building furniture, do that on the side. And it was this moment of like, oh, okay, that's great. And so I'd gone through all this heartache and then in the end, everything was okay. And we were trying to hold on to this thing that I had been doing for so long and that felt like like to walk away from professional ministry. That feels like, whoo, you are walking away. Like,
The night he wrote the letter to our pastor, his resignation letter, he typed it and he put it in an envelope and he called our pastor and said, I want to have
coffee.
I want to have breakfast with you in the morning. He's like, oh no, I know what this is. And then we went to bed and Ben was asleep. And I was scrolling social media, and in my DMs was a message from the producer at HGTV who was just reaching out to ask if we'd ever thought about doing TV.
Whoa.
That night.
The night that you wrote
that night.
Which didn't feel like...
It didn't feel like anything that would actually happen. It only felt like...
You're going to be...
Confirmation.
God saying something is out here.
Everything's going to be all right.
Something is out here.
Whoa, that is actually crazy. That's so real though. I'm so glad you shared like the grittiness of walking through that because the reality is like so many people right now who listen to this podcast because primarily from age 20 to 35 are our listeners. So is people trying to figure out what they're going to do in life, what's next, what's the next step. And so to hear you say like, no, there was a time I was thinking about law school and politician and this and that. And then I'm in youth ministry. And then that felt really like the clear direction. And then 10 years go by. And it's like when you're confident in something for 10 years and all of a sudden you feel a shift, it is really hard to wrestle with that, especially like you mentioned in ministry, because then you have the question of like, it's like you're not walking away from the Lord, but you're walking away from ministry. And so that can sometimes
is this am I turning my back on my faith in this moment? Is this, this is, and my dad's a preacher. And so it was like, this is
what you thought you'd do.
Yeah, this is huge and terrifying.
But the greatest advice that I can even offer is that every plan we ever made, every plan we ever had did not happen.
Yeah.
None of it happened.
That's
I was
actually
going to be
crazy, yeah.
a magazine design editor was my dream. I thought I would live in Birmingham and I would design magazines.
For Southern living.
Southern living or coastal living.
Coastal living,
And
cottage living, any
then
of the living.
all the
It
livings.
was going to be all the livings.
We were going to be living.
But I wanted to design magazines about beautiful houses. I could just instead design the beautiful house. I didn't think of that.
Wow.
And then, like I was scared to ever have kids. And then we had Helen, and it was the greatest thing that ever happened.
Wow.
And it's like every single thing that we thought was the right thing and what we wanted to do, God had a 1,000 times better idea.
That's great.
And plan.
That is so
And
great.
there's a book, Streams in the Desert. Do you know this book?
I've heard of this. I've not read it.
It's the greatest collection of devotionals in history.
In
I'll
your
fight
mind,
anybody. I will fight somebody. It's the greatest.
I love it.
It's an old one, very, very old, but it's daily devotionals. And the one that really relates to what we're talking about here is it said, mind the checks. God sends quiet little, little whispers, little zaps throughout your life. And if you're not asking for them and you're not paying attention to them, you'll miss them.
That's so true.
But if you follow them, even if it feels crazy and scary, that's really the direction he's trying to guide you.
It's great. I love that. You know that feeling whenever you realize your bed might be kind of gross? Like we think it's clean and there's sweat, dead skin, and bacteria just chilling there. Yeah, such an ick, and that's why I made the switch to Miracle Made sheets. They're infused with silver, which means they prevent up to 99.7% of bacteria growth. That keeps them cleaner, fresher, and smelling so much better in between washes. And a bonus, it's actually better for your skin, because less bacteria on your sheets means fewer clogged pores and breakouts. Plus, blocking out that bacteria means Miracle sheets stay fresh and clean up to 3 times longer than other sheets, leaving you with less laundry and more me time. Yes, please. But these just aren't clean sheets. They are cozy, breathable, and feel luxurious without that bougie price tag. Plus, the NASA-inspired fabrics help regulate your body temp, so no more waking up in a puddle of sweat or shivering under a mountain of blankets. It's like your bed finally got its life together. Y'all are going to love these sheets if you've never tried them. They are such a game changer. When Christian and I first tried them years ago, we were sold and have been on it ever since. So upgrade your sleep as the weather cools down. Go to trymiracle.com/whoa to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, you can order today and save over 40% off. And if you use my promo code WHOA at checkout, you'll get a free 3-piece towel set and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you can get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/whoa and use the code WHOA to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/whoa to treat yourself. Thanks for sharing that. I was thinking about this verse I just read as I've been on my Psalms journey in Psalm 16. And it says, I bless the Lord who gives me counsel. In the night also my heart instructs me. So I was like, that kind of reminds me of those checks. It's like you kind of feel in your heart, like the instruction of the Lord. But sometimes you don't listen to it because it feels like crazy or scary or intimidating. But then it goes on to say, I've always set the Lord before me because he is my right hand, I will not be shaken. Therefore my heart is glad and my whole being rejoices. My flesh dwells secure. What a promise. Then it says, you make known to me the path of life. In your presence there is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore. And that has been like so speaking to me because this has been a year in my life that has felt like, whoa, everything's crazy and changing. But when I look back at last year, there were a lot of checks that led me to make decisions I made last year to really prepare me for this year. I just still didn't see it coming, like, of course I didn't. How could you see the full picture? And so we like geared up to start filming our new show, which felt so crazy, and a lot of prayer was involved with that, and our whole life was just kind of being restructured because, as y'all know, filming a TV show is busy and a lot of work. And so we finally felt like, okay, we're ready for it. Well, after the very first day of filming the new show, the next day I found out I was pregnant, and it was a total shock. And it was like a great surprise, but to be honest with you, I was like so overwhelmed because everything
You
that
weren't ready.
everything I had spent time like preparing my heart for what I thought this season was going to look like just felt like it went out the window because I was like, now I'm pregnant. So in 9 months, we are having this baby, and then I will be on maternity leave, and then this and that, and then I'm going to be pregnant the whole time we're filming. And it was just like everything I thought got kind of shaken. And I would be honest, like the first week, and I felt so bad for this because it wasn't about the baby. I was so happy about the baby. I was just so
It's about how your life
nervous about my life changing, you know?
look different.
Yes, I was so just nervous. And every time I thought about the future, I'd just get nervous. And it's so cool because now, about to step into my 3rd trimester, I have been so thankful for the timing of this baby. Like, and I truly mean that. It could make me cry because I'm like, God, you knew so much better than I did. It has kept me so grounded almost in this season of life, feeling so crazy, and the show and the speaking and everything. And I'm like, but I have a baby in me. Like, I have life forming in me, and
it's like, sort of like all that stuff doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
This
Yes,
is the big thing.
It's like this is just.
He's telling you gotta slow down.
Yes, and it slowed me down. It's kept me so true to where I'm at, and it's the most real thing about my life. Like, it's just so beautiful, the timing. I'm so excited for August now. I'm so excited for all the things that are going to change and happen. And so to the point of like, yes, like the Lord, everything you have planned, it doesn't ever happen the way that you planned it or the way that you thought it. And I think what I've learned now, because I'm like you, Erin, I was always an anxious kid. I love to be prepared. My worst nightmare would be I literally have nightmares. This is a reoccurring nightmare of mine that I get on stage and I forgot to prepare something to say. Like, I actually have that reoccurring nightmare. So I hate not feeling prepared. But what I've learned is like, okay, what does it look like to not be prepared for a moment, but my heart to be prepared for it? And like keeping my heart ready, keeping my heart in a good posture. And that looks like a daily surrender to the Lord, so that your soul, your flesh is secure. It doesn't matter what tomorrow looks like, because my flesh is secure and trusting in what the Lord's going to do. And so I love that y'all shared that and the grittiness of that. And it's just so cool that night the Lord gave that. And it's normally right after you take the leap of faith. Like, it doesn't happen before. It's after you write the letter, and then you're like fully ready that the Lord goes, okay, now I'll show you what's next. But I love how you said you didn't think anything of it necessarily. When was it from the time you got the DM to you were like, whoa, we're doing a TV show? And what did that look like for y'all?
It was 6 months later when we filmed the pilot, and they told us it probably, it may air and it may not air.
Because I don't know how much you remember from the beginning of Duck Dynasty, but we didn't know like anything about TV. And then, so in our mind, like, we filmed this pilot and we knew that they invested so much money in making that one episode. So we're thinking like, this is going to end up.
Sorry, a train's coming right behind.
Hello, train.
It's very loud.
So, in our minds, like, it would be silly to invest that kind of money and not put it on TV.
And they're like, oh no, they film pilots and then throw it in the trash all the time.
Yeah.
And so
we had no expectations. We did it for fun.
And there was another year before.
Whether it airs or not, we all just like send us a copy of it so we have it.
Yeah.
It was a year after we filmed it that it was actually on TV. And
it was 6 months. It was January.
Yeah, but we wrapped filming
we just filmed in July 2015. It premiered January 2016. And it was the most watched pilot in HGTV history because there was a snowstorm on the East Coast and everybody sat at home and watched TV that day.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
It was.
So then they ordered season 1.
And we still are like, nothing is guaranteed.
Yeah.
And it's the #1 show on the network. But we're still like, I fully expect to not be renewed every single time.
Yeah.
Which is a tribute to our production company is
good at managing expectations.
They were like, from the beginning, they're like, this could be ever tomorrow, so have fun with it. And we're like, okay, sounds good. And now and it's different. Once you have kids, it changes.
None of that matters.
And
it's so true.
it's like, hey, we're not going to do that because it's May
It's
Day.
got field day.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's field day. We can't.
This was something I was talking. Okay. At field day, every single parent was on the field, like watching the kids. When I was growing up, I don't think parents came to field day. And we were having this conversation, like, I think this is a millennial thing. Like, our parents were working when we had stuff like this. They'd be like, have fun at field day. See you at home tonight.
Yeah.
But we're like there for it.
That's so
And
true.
I don't care if it, I just don't care.
Yep.
I'm going to be at field day. I can't work. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
That's my
Puts
priorities
things into
in this
perspective
season.
more. Yeah, for sure.
They're going to be little for such a short time.
Yeah.
You know how fast it's going.
Gosh,
But also it's like,
flying.
it's for all, like, we are, in a very blessed financially career right now, but my brothers and all, like, they're the same way. It's like, I'm not working. This is happening that day for my daughter, so I'm going to be there. And
Yeah.
so it's
Cool.
it's across the board for us.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It was awesome. So now y'all are doing a spinoff show as well. So how many years have y'all been in this?
Hometown Takeover, we've done 3 seasons. We filmed that last year. It just finished airing. Hometown, we've been filming since 2016.
Wow.
So
2015. That's when we filmed the pilot.
the pilot was in 2015.
So 10 years
That's
of TV.
incredible. So none of that was a part of y'all's vision board when y'all got married.
No.
Y'all didn't think y'all were gonna be there. What kind of things do you guys as a couple like dream about now? What do you like dream about for the future? What do you love doing? What like makes you feel like, man, this is what we thrive in.
We have dreams, but of course it probably won't happen the way we want. But I have a dream of homeschooling the girls grades 5 through 9. When they're going through the worst, most awkward part of being a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be with them more.
Mm-hmm.
I had a hard time around that age, and I just want to be there for it in a way that my parents couldn't be.
Hmm.
And it was just weird then. Homeschool was a weird thing, but now it feels like a really amazing way to get more time as a family.
It's beautiful.
And, I mean, we just like being at home with the girls. We have a beautiful garden that we've built. And
We're several years away from the 5th grade homeschool dream, but
yeah.
I
it's
love
one
that
day.
though. If you start now, though, you do kind of have to start thinking about those things now. Because again, even if those things, because some of those things are like checks. It's like an idea is like a check. Like, maybe that is what my life could look like. And if I wanted to like that at 5th grade, then I need to start doing stuff now to like prepare for me to be able to step out of this and into that.
Yeah,
you know,
we got to think about those things.
you do. I think it's really cool. You shared on the podcast last time, but again, this is a new audience, more people, different ears to hear. Can you share a little bit about just those middle school days and what you are wanting to be intentional about with your girls and why? Because I think it's so important. A lot of people, a lot of moms and daughters listen to this podcast together, and I just feel like that would really encourage them out there.
My mom was my very best friend. I got bullied in elementary school. I was a weird kid. I love dinosaurs.
Nothing wrong with that.
Most of the girls did not love dinosaurs.
You were obsessed with the mascot.
I was obsessed with my high school's mascot where my brother went to high school. When I was little in elementary school, I was like obsessed with the mascot.
That's
And they're like,
awesome.
that's kind of weird. So I see so much at Helen, our oldest, is just like a carbon copy of me. I know every struggle she's dealing with right now. I know exactly how she feels. And I know exactly how gross and difficult middle school was then. But now with the like phone, social media culture, I can't imagine how much harder.
Right.
And that's why we started Osprey with other friends of ours who just, if we all work together, collective action works. So none of our kids in our big friend group, none of our kids have phones. And the oldest are now turning 12 and they just got watches that can call and text. And that's it.
It's cool.
Because that's on that note, we're like when we were growing up, we had landlines and you
We
could
could call your
people.
best friend. Yeah.
And at school, there was a phone you could go and you could call.
So we
home.
got a landline at our house. Our girls are welcome to use.
That's
And,
cool.
It is cool to like hear the phone ring.
And it's when we got our Wi-Fi set up, our tech guy was like, technically you have a landline phone, but I'm not going to hook it up. And I was like, No. Go ahead, look it up. I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And also when I got to middle school is when I picked up a guitar and I started taking lessons, and that learning to play an instrument when none of my peers did gave me otherworldly confidence. And that's something I really want for my girls, to find the thing that's theirs, that they can own, their skill that they really, really love, and that makes them have confidence.
Yeah, it's great.
I think that'll help so much getting through those awkward years. But
I love that. Well, just having your mom.
She's only 7. We have so much time. She's not going to be.
How old were you when Duck Dynasty started?
I was 14 when we filmed our pilot episode. So a little bit older. Bella was 9. So she was around that. But yeah, 14, it was a weird time. So our filming, our first show was from whenever I was in 8th grade until I was a senior in high school. So it was my whole high school. Yeah, girl, tell me about it. I was like, that was rough.
Bless you.
I mean, obviously.
You would get to sit and feel so self-conscious, probably.
Oh, gosh. I was like so insecure in so many ways. And it's actually something I'm really excited about with filming a new show. I'm so excited to film a new show and being where I'm at in life now. Like, just being confident in the Lord, in my relationships, knowing who I am. And yeah, now, like, my daughters are so young, but this is their reality too. Like, how do I, raise them in that? And I think sometimes at first I was like afraid of that. And then I was like, man, but I was the kid that my mom trusted God enough to step into TV, knowing that it was going to affect her children in certain ways. But like, the blessing so far outweighs the hard things of that, and the opportunity that comes with all of it. And I also have perspective now that I can help teach and help walk them through that I didn't have the first time around. That's why I love what you said about your daughter. You're like, I know everything she's going through right now. Like, I've felt it. And I think as a mom, we have this tendency to want to try to be perfect and everything. It's like, I want to have it all figured out. It's like, no, man, some of the most powerful moments with your kids are whenever you're honest about how you didn't, like that you can empathize with their pain, that you can empathize with how they're feeling. And right now we're having that on a 3-year-old level. One day we'll have that on a 13-year-old level. I mean, I told Honey recently, we had a big conversation and I made her have the conversation. She does not want to have serious talk, but we were having a serious talk. And I held her little body down until she let me have the serious talk. And then later we're laying in bed and I said, honey, I just want to say thank you so much for having that hard talk, because I know when you don't want to have a hard conversation, it can be hard to sit there and listen. But I'm really proud of you that you did. And she said, yeah, Mom, sometimes whenever I have those talks, I just want to run to my room and slam the door and cry. And I said,
You're like,
I know.
Guess what?
I was like,
that doesn't change.
That doesn't change.
We all feel
Just
that
manage
way.
it better.
I know, I'm like, we all feel that way, honey. I want to do that too sometimes, but we don't, because it's so much better now that we had that conversation, And so anyways, empathizing with that and going, yep, true, feel that, been there, done that, all the things, like that's what helps guide them through those things.
Helen's going through a hard time at school right now because there will be kids on the playground playing a game and she'll want to join in, but she doesn't know how to just put herself into it.
No, you can't.
And what if they say, no, we don't want you to play with us? And the thought of the possible rejection is too much to even ask. And so if no one invites her, she believes they just don't like me. And I'm thinking, everybody's just little, Helen, and they're not thinking about that.
So true. But it's so hard as a mom.
It's so hard. And then when you're a grown up,
the best thing
you can still feel those same feelings.
Her little sister is me. Yeah.
She's the extrovert. Helen's the introvert. May is the extrovert.
And I never struggled with just inserting myself into whatever everyone else or whatever was happening that I want to, hey, what's going on over here? I want to be a part of this. And May she is that. And I have taught Helen like we were going to a thing recently and she was terrified. She was like, what, there's going to be so many kids there, and they're older than me.
And they're all friends and they're going to leave me out.
And then I don't know them. What if there's someone I don't know? And I was like, well, you just walk up to them and say, hey, what's your name? And she was like, I can't do that. And I said, well, you have an ace up your sleeve because your little sister is going to do it anyway. So you just say, May, go over there and introduce yourself to them and then introduce me to them. And they do that. And when they're together, like, that's how it is.
May's the icebreaker.
Helen walks up to May and she goes, and then May like turns and looks at who she's talking about and walks up and says, hi, my name's May. This is my sister Helen. And then and then they're in. But she doesn't have her at school, and
it's hard.
That's so cute, though. I mean, that two are better than one, right? And I think to the point of seeing how y'all's relationship has been. I mean, I know, Erin, you were nervous to talk to Ben. Ben was nervous to talk to Erin. It's so cute, though. But then y'all are the perfect couple together. Y'all's differences complement each other so well. And that's why it's like such a dynamic duo that America has fallen in love with. It's I don't believe it was just because of the snow day that it's hit the top watch of all HGTV. Why is that so hard for me to say? HGTV shows. It's because of who y'all are, and people are so attracted to the people that you are, the joy that you share, the not only the gifting that you have, but the way you use and steward it. It's beautiful. And so to see your girls in that same light is such a cool thing. And I'm super grateful for the influence that y'all have in the world right now and will continue to have. And if that looks like stepping away and being with your girls for a time, I'm excited for you in that, because what a gift that will be. But thank y'all so much for sharing so much advice on the podcast and sharing your story. I know people are going to be so encouraged, and you guys are truly a joy to know. So thank y'all so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sadie. You're really sweet.
But before we go, on the like people in their 20s and 30s who don't know what to do with their life, go to trade school or go to, like, if you are trying to figure it out, every plumber, every electrician, every carpenter, everybody on all of our crews are like, we can't find anybody to work. And like, one of our carpenters was a chef at a restaurant, and the restaurant closed, and he didn't know what he was going to do. And he came, and he had never done any sort of construction work whatsoever. And he got a job, and it pays really well. And he's doing really, like, he's figuring it out. And if he wants to go back to a restaurant, he can still do that. And that's, I don't know. It's an interesting time in world history, or in American history right now, where even if you can't figure it out, there is a way that you can do something until you figure it out.
You know, that's very true. I sat with two moms last week who have college age or going into college age kids, and they both talked about how hard it is because both of their sons want to kind of just go to trade school, but they feel that intimidation of their friends around them because they're going to colleges, and the moms are like, why do we feel that? Yeah, the social pressure. And it's
we got to change that.
Yes, because the mom was like, I don't want to feel that. Like, I don't want him to feel that. It matters. Like, because it doesn't matter, but that's such a real thing.
I'll tell you a quick anecdote that's not very useful maybe, but our one of the plumbers that we work with, he's a very cool guy. His parents are like the business professional types. But
his brother's a banker.
Yeah, and he's he went against the grain and took up his grandfather's plumbing business. And he's cool, man. He's cool. He's got a golden retriever. His wife's
a member of the country club.
His wife's a beautiful college graduate professional woman. Like, you can change the stereotype completely.
It's so true. And we need to, because the world is big enough for all of the giftings God gave every single person. And it's so cool when we go against the grain and actually follow what God's put in our heart. The plan he actually has, so much bigger than the box that we put him in sometimes, and the way that we just do society. And so I love that. That's great advice. Y'all are awesome. This was so good.